NYSE-listed asset manager Janus Henderson boasts nearly $500 billion in assets under management, and it's generating new buzz this morning. That's because the firm has launched the Janus Henderson CLO ETF, adding to the company's lineup of active fixed income funds. And joining me now in studio with more is John Kirshner. He's Global Head of Securitized Products and Portfolio Manager at Janus Henderson. John, welcome and congratulations on this launch.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
What more can you share about this fund?
Well, we have a AAA CLO ETF, JAAA, that was launched back in 2020, and then we launched a BBB CLO ETF back in 2022, and this kind of fills out our spectrum of CLO ETFs. We now have three. This one's going to focus on the AA and single A part of the capital stack, so in between JAAA and JBBB.
Okay, so for viewers watching and they're not familiar with the CLO ETF, What is it?
Well, CLOs are floating rate instruments. They can be very high credit quality. They're made out of bank loans, which are floating rate. So it's a way to get high quality, high yielding, floating rate fixed income exposure at a very low fee. So for a lot of investors that think about fixed income as a fixed income payment, this is different because it floats with interest rates, which can be, very helpful to portfolios, particularly when interest rates are going up.
Okay, so what is in this particular ETF that just launched?
Yeah, so again, AA and single A CLOs.
Yep.
So again, floating rate, but still very high credit quality. The difference between a JAAA, which is now 27 billion plus, is that you get about 50 to 60 basis points more yield, which I think is very important as the Fed may be cutting interest rates later on this year.
What clientele or buyer is this fund catered to?
Well, both institutional and individual investors. It's interesting because about 2/3 of our investors now are currently institutional, and a lot of insurance companies are in our top 10 holders. But every day we hear from individual investors that use this to diversify their portfolio.
Interesting. So what's next for the fund?
Well, we just launched today. We have our partners at Guardian Life putting in seed capital, so it's launching at $100 million, which is very high for an initial launch. JAAA, like I said, is 27 billion. JBBB is over $1 billion. So we're going to work very hard to grow this fund into, the next $1 billion CLO ETF.
Why is now the right time for this?
Well, it's a good question because a lot of people say, well, if the Fed is cutting rates, why do you want floating rate? But there are still $8 trillion in money market funds out there, and T-bill funds and ETFs are tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars as well. This is a way to get very safe exposure, but with enhanced yield. So all those people that are in money market funds or T-bill funds, they should check out JAAA or this fund, JA, to get more yield, but still a lot of safety.
What's the ticker, to be clear?
JA.
JA
Yes.
on this particular fund.
Correct.
So people will see it trading today.
Correct.
Okay, and when we look at big picture 2026, right, we're still in the early innings here. What are your goals for this year?
Well, it's been a very busy year. We have other products we're going to launch, and we now have JAAA, JBBB, JA. We have an MBS ETF, JMBS, an ABS ETF, JABS, and a securitized income, JSI. We have two ETFs over in Europe, so we're just looking to grow all those ETFs and expand our reach in the space.
What does it mean to be here at the NYSE talking about this launch and, of course, part of the NYSE community with these ETFs?
Well, it's great. I remember coming down here when I was very new to the industry. You always get that special feeling when you come down to the New York Stock Exchange, the heart of capitalism. Yeah. So it's always a pleasure to come down here and see what's going on.
All right, John Kirshner, he's Global Head of Securitized Products and Portfolio Manager at Janus Henderson. John, thanks again. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, Kristen. Appreciate it.
Great to have you.